Good evening, Facebook Live. This is Milton Johnson, your financial coach. Glad for you to be here one more time. Some of you are here now, some of you may see it on a replay. But whatever, I'm just glad for you to be here with me at 7 o'clock. So definitely, we've been talking about some great things. I hope that have challenged you and developed you in developing some financial education and getting some financial literacy. So things that will cause you just to take some action, because right now it's the time to take action. And for some of those who do not know me, I want to introduce myself. I say I'm Milton Johnson, a financial coach, and what I do, I help professional individuals and small business owners design a financial blueprint for reducing debt, for increasing savings and investments, for their retirement investment goals. That's what I'm going to do, increase those investment goals for you and help you with your retirement planning. And the way I do this to my Road to Financial Freedom method and helping you achieve those goals. I have a BS in accounting. I am a former 766 financial advisor. I worked in management and some leadership positions in corporate America, and I have a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification. Getting that out the way. Hey, so like I said, I'm excited to be with you all on today. Definitely want to continue that journey on educating those about finance. And I want to talk about today, I think, something that's very important and people do it as far as the roadmap to financial freedom. And that roadmap to financial freedom is different for everyone. So everyone has a different idea of what that roadmap will look for them. But the main thing is being able to navigate through that roadmap to whatever financial freedom, financial goals that you want to achieve. But we're going to be talking about something I think everyone should do, is building your assets. You know, asset is something like a useful, valuable thing for a person, a quality. You know, when we think of assets, a lot of people think of like gold, stocks, a house, things of that nature. But there are several types of assets. You know, you have your financial assets, you have your tangible or we call physical assets, and then you also have what we call intangible assets. So these are some of the things I want to talk about so you can get in your psyche, your mind, that these are things I need to start building. When you think of financial assets, you think of things like cash, or either something like cash equivalents. They may think about your retirement account, such as your 401k, your IRA. They may have different employer-sponsored retirements, 403b, things of that nature. Think of bonds. One time they also had coupon bonds, government bonds, and they actually came in, they still do come in paper form, and you can hold on to that physically as well. And then you may be able to just own some assets, you may not even touch a piece of paper, and still own some bonds and get some interest sent to you probably every 6 months for the duration of that bond until it expires, and then you get your money back. So I'll be talking about bonds probably later on in another segment about what you can do and how it can be valuable for you. Another type of financial asset is stocks. A lot of people know about stocks. They like for it to appreciate it in value, and that's where you can grow your money. We've heard of past stocks like Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, Facebook, the name they call it Meta now, Meta. And these stocks have actually made some people very wealthy, rich. If you got it in the beginning and held it for a certain number of years, some people have actually gone rich, by just growing their assets, investing in it and holding it for a long period of time. I think long-term investing is definitely something that's very valuable. You have mutual funds, you have ETFs, you have gold, other commodities that are financial assets, certificate of deposit. People are familiar with them, we call them CDs as well. So those are some of your financial assets, though. You actually want to look at building those. I just want to go over the tangible assets. You said, what is that? I also know cash, something you can hold as physical. And a lot of times I think of land. That was very valuable. It's still valuable today to have land. Back in like the 1800s, early 1900s, that was considered something very, you needed land to be like wealthy, rich. A lot of people wanted land. And today I see a lot of people want to own land, especially in certain areas of the country, and made people rich by getting the land at the right price, getting it at the right time. And the timing had to be right with everything in order to get the land. And then you have some real estate, which has been booming over the years in certain areas of the country. So those are some tangibles. You got collectibles. You may have coins, baseball cards, or some other sports cards, high luxury cars, high-end cars. You see people doing that. They may restore their cars and may actually appreciate and value depending on how much was put into that vehicle, as well in the year and the model, things of that nature. You have fine art and art collectibles that are also tangible assets, jewelry, precious metals and coins. So those are some we call tangible assets. And the last one we'll talk about are intangible assets, which include intellectual property, patents and trademarks. I mean, like the secret of Coke. Well, that was a top-notch secret. I remember some years ago, people were trying to get that secret, develop the best Coke. And I also think about Kentucky Fried Chicken, that patent, the special herbs and spices. Some things you want to protect, your music, even maybe some technical patents and technology people want to protect, even in medicine. So that's intangible asset, trademarks, things like those. So those are intangible assets. They're not physical, but they have a value. They're very high in value. So those are some of the assets that I want you to start building if you have the money to do that. We also have appreciating assets. And those appreciating assets are things that actually grow in value over time, like the stocks, mutual funds, things of that nature. You have depreciating assets, like your car, computer. And those can be very valuable, especially like during tax time. When you want to depreciate some of your assets, and you have, especially have a business, make sure you're keeping a record of that, and using some good tax planning to be able to depreciate some of those assets, because they do lose value, and you want to take advantage of the tax advantage of that as well. So when depreciating, make sure you're keeping up with that as well. He said, well, how do I get started? I want to get started to get some of these assets. That's a good question. Where do you start at? First, you have to start saving. I mean, in order to buy stocks, that's one of my favorite assets, and a house. I think when I was younger, I started saving money when I was probably I was in college, and right after college, started increasing my savings even more. Only thing I know, I want to save some money. I want to invest in the stock market. That's one thing I want to do. I wasn't even thinking about a house at that time until I was about to get married. And I was actually thinking about getting an apartment for my wife and I to actually live in, and our son as well. And I had a member at my church that's actually in real estate say, you should get a house. I was like, a house? I said, I can't afford a house. I am 24. I'm not thinking about a house. I'm thinking about an apartment to get in. I said, well, a house is expensive. I don't want to get a house. He started telling me about the advantages of actually being able to invest and own it. So you own a house and you get equity in that house, and you probably can find a house for about the same amount that you actually may pay rent for an apartment. I said, really? I did not believe. I'm 24. I wasn't really thinking about real estate or a house. But she put that thought process in my mind and continued to educate me about the importance of home ownership. And I took the plunge. We looked around for some houses and found a house. But you know, at that time, even now, you just can't just get a house a lot of times without putting a down payment. Now, I did get it one time, get a VA loan when I purchased another house. They had to put anything down, but majority of the time, they want some sort of down payment. And then if you put down at least 20%, then you don't have to worry about paying PMI, the primary mortgage insurance. So that's one thing. So, but I had to put down a down payment. And if I didn't have anything saved up, I wouldn't have been able to put a down payment on there. So you need to be saving. And so I had a few $1,000s saved up. I was very disciplined and focused. I was still, Marines, you have to stay focused. That's one thing we still talk in my mindset, staying focused, staying disciplined in whatever you do. And so I think some of the Marine Corps values come into my psyche when I actually dealing with money and different things about being able to stay focused, stay disciplined, stay dedicated to the cause. And that's what you have to do in your finances when it comes to savings. You want to put money into a savings. You want to dump into like cash assets, such as like a savings account. This maybe you may be able to put a certain amount into some CDs. If you don't need a certain amount of money, CDs are going to pay a little bit more interest than the savings account. I see some that's actually like around 4 or 5%, depending on how much time you want to put it in, leave it in there. Like 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, CDs, 2-3 years, how long you need for it to be in there for interest, that interest rate. So make sure you are saving your money to actually invest in into your asset. And then as time went by, I was looking at watching TV. I actually watched CNBC. I actually look at those ticker symbols going by. People talking about the stock market. And I had piqued my interest when I was in high school. We actually had a stock market game that we played. Miss Huntley, my teacher, social science teacher, teaching about the stock market game. It was incredible. But it piqued my interest about the stock market. So I wanted to get into the stock market. I didn't know how, but I know it required some money. So one thing I knew I had to do was actually save. And I was able to actually open up a brokerage account, put some money into my brokerage account, and actually make my first trade. I forgot what I bought, the first stock I bought. But I was so excited to be able to buy my first stock. I was able to place my own trade. You can put in market orders, limit orders. There's different trade orders you could put in. You may not know what to do, but that's when you may need a financial expert to be able to help lead and guide you and show you the right way to actually place the right trade at the right time. So I was fortunate enough to actually accumulate some cash, save hard, and then put my money into the stock market. So that was something I want to do. And another thing I was informed about doing was actually investing into a 401k. I know when I was first approached, I was actually still in college. I was working part-time. And one of the supervisors said, you need to start putting your money in 401k. I said, why? I said, man, I'd be here at this job. I said, I'm not thinking about retiring here. I said, so why should I put my money into a 401k? I don't plan on being here. I don't plan on retiring here. That doesn't make good sense. He said, trust me. He said, you need to start putting something in your 401k. I said, I'm part-time. He said, do it anyway. He said, what? Do this for me. He said, start with 1%. So I said, oh my God. I said, I'm tired of this guy. So I put in 1%. And he said, just grow it like 1% every year. And so I did that. And actually, I stayed at that company for 19 years. If I knew it. So you never know what may happen. And if your company actually has a 401k plan and they match it a certain percent, some may match up 3, 4, 5, 6. I heard 8%. That is free money. If you're not putting your money in a 401k and they match it, you are losing out on free money. If they match up to 5%, put in at least 5%. Man, that's easy. it kind of bewilders me that some people are not taking advantage of a matching 401k. That's easy money that they are giving to you. That's a one way of being able to grow your assets and value over time. And guess what? It's for retirement. So when you retire, you have some money to back you up. I don't know if the Social Security is going to be around. I've been here for years. The Social Security may not be around. And even if it is, at least you have some supplemental income to back up that Social Security. So make sure your money is going to a 401k, 403b, if you're an educator or some other government, but make sure you put it in. You say, well, we don't have a 401k. I can't invest for retirement. There are other ways. If you're sole proprietor, there are 401ks for sole proprietors. And then one of the other things that anybody can invest in is an IRA. There are traditional IRAs and there are Roth IRAs. So choose which one to get with. If you're not familiar, do some research and get with professionals. You still are uncertain, and make sure that you invest in the right one, traditional IRA or Roth IRA, if they do not have a retirement account. And then say, for instance, if you match your 401k plan up to the max, say 5%, you may say, well, I want to put some into an IRA as well. It has some in 401k. Maybe it'll put some in your IRA. But, you want to do what's best for you and your situation. If you're not sure, make sure you talk to a financial professional to see what is best for you and your family and for your particular situation. But that's building assets. And guess what? When you die, unfortunately, hopefully you won't be able to die, but we all got to die. You can get that money to some of your loved ones, pass that down. You can actually start building a legacy. Unfortunately, we have to depart from here. And that's another thing about getting some insurance. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't have life insurance. We're not staying here forever. We want to be able to leave something, pass something down, replace that income that was lost, or even, we can use that as an inheritance, depending on how much you get. So I've seen some rich people that actually may get like several $1 million policies. And then when they pass, they would use that policy to actually pay like some inheritance tax if that was their inheritance. What they call the heirs are going to inherit. They can actually use some of that insurance money to pay down some of those taxes, or they can just use the insurance money to actually give to like their grandchildren, their children, using insurance. So think of that as well. But continue to build up assets, and you can invest in real estate. That's been a popular thing lately. Real estate. You've been in some areas like California, been booming. New York City, and then Atlanta. Man, but people still steadily coming to Atlanta. So the real estate market is hot and booming. So just think, if you could have invested early before some of the people got there, just imagine how much your asset could have appreciated and grown over time. And also it can be used for rental income. You may not want to sell it. You may just want rental income to help supplement some of your income. You may be retiring or just want supplemental income. So invest into that asset. That rental asset can generate additional funds. Even the stock market, some stocks pay dividends. So if they pay quarterly dividends, that's additional income that's coming to you. I talked about bonds earlier. If you own some bonds, you getting some money coming to you. I know that's rich. I know that when I was at Edward Jones as a financial advisor, man, these rich people, they love bonds, especially tax-free bonds. They didn't pay a whole lot, but they use it effectively. So just imagine you have $1 million and it's paying 6% interest. 6% interest off $1 million is $60,000 a year. And a lot of them will actually accumulate bonds over a period of time just to have that income coming in. They may supplement some if they had a pension or if they were getting Social Security. That was additional income coming in. And then once a bond expires, you'll be able to get your face value of that bond. So if you put $1 million bond, say, for 10 or 20 years, once that bond expires, you're getting your interest. Say for example, you have a 20-year bond, you're getting that 6% interest for 20 years. And then once the end of the 20 years, you get your $1 million back. You get your money back for that at the end once it expires. You fulfill that contract obligation. So that's a good asset to have and develop, along with having a mixture of stocks, bonds. You may have some real estate, but you want it to grow. Another thing you can actually do to help your assets is reduce your debt. You want to increase your buying power to be able to invest. And sometimes too much debt can be keeping you from investing the way you need to to grow your assets. So actually think about some ways you can actually reduce your debt or possibly eliminate debt. But get your debt down. You want to get it down to at least below 30% usage. So for instance, if you have like a credit card that's $10,000 credit limit, you want to keep it at least $3,000 or below. That's 30% utilization of that. So you want to keep it below that 30% if you can. If it's above that, slowly start chipping away to get it below there. So that has some different ones coming here. Miss Costa, appreciate you coming in. Greg, I see you coming in. They for the ones that have been coming in and supporting me with this coaching endeavor, being able to do this 30-day challenge. Really, tell it's been a challenge. You're doing it for 30 days straight. That's the goal we've been looking for. So it started actually on the July 9th, last Sunday. And so I've been doing a Facebook Live every day since then. So I want you to continue on this journey with me as I do Facebook Lives, talking about ways to help you grow, or educate you with finances. And if there's anything that you would like for me to discuss, a good topic, feel free to put it in the chat, or you can DM me as well. You can do that. If you have any questions or you think you might want to need my services, definitely feel free to go to my website, www.solution2finances.com. You should see it here. I'll put it in there. And then you could go to my contacts and then you can make an appointment and we could go from there. So definitely feel free to reach out to me. You don't want to reach out to some other professional, a trusted friend, but continue to grow and learn, develop yourself in your finance. When you grow, things will continue to go in the right direction. You got to grow your knowledge. You got to grow in your personal development, and you got to stay steadfast and consistent. So I enjoy each and every one of you coming aboard. The ones that are going to see it in the replay, I thank you and appreciate you as well. But this is the end, and this is Milton Johnson, your financial coach. And I look forward to seeing you again on tomorrow. You be blessed.